have just one approach to creating your very own wood-fired oven in the woods. This was a temporary installation for a large gathering of people, so we weren't too attached to a huge outcome, though we did take a little time to get sculptural there on the back. And in this application, we're using old, discarded, found metal objects and an earthen mixture called Cobb to create this wood-fired baking chamber that can feed the masses. We cut up some number 10 cans discarded from a pizza shop and took the water heater to a welder where he used an old plow disc as the door, and then we stopped by a scrapyard and picked up some other metal that might be useful. Straw is a primary element in the mixture of Cobb, and here we just used local grass clippings from the site to act as the skeleton that straw does in Cobb or horsehair does in plaster. And we also had to find clay-rich soil. In North Carolina, where I've built these before, the soil itself is just clay-rich, so if you just find a spot of subsoil, you're going to have clay into it. Here in northern Florida, I ended up finding the mother lodes, so we had tons of great clay and a really good amount of sand, so making the Cobb was really effortless. And an old sled for snow is a great way to drag stuff around on rough terrain. We mixed the mixture up on the ground just using tarps, 2 parts sand, 1 part clay, some water, and some grass clippings, and started building up the Cobb. You can see the cans go around, completely around the barrel, and then we poke holes between layers of Cobb so that it has something to stick on as we build up. On top of the cans, we bent an old oven rack, you can see it there in that little hole, to have complete 360 flow of heat and smoke under the Cobb and around the barrel, and then exiting up that top can. We probably should have gone about 2 cans high, and in a permanent installation you would go ahead and have a whole smokestack to direct that smoke away and make a secondary hole to have as a warming grate that you can set your kettle on. In this application, we have our fire off to the side and our food chamber out to the front. And because we had abundant sand and soft ground, we could dig around and make it really ergonomic and easy to load big long trees and knotty wood that you don't want to take up a ton of time chopping just to fit in a hole like you would in a cook stove or a wood oven, a wood heater. Inside, we were maintaining easily 375 degrees very consistently just by controlling the fire, and then you're not breathing in the smoke and dealing with coals, scooting them off to the side. You can just bake and bake. So here are finished results. We made some delicious cakes. We compared duck eggs to chicken eggs in baking, and we were able to feed the masses and make the folks happy without any electricity or propane or any other modern conveniences. You can do this too. Another final note on this particular design is that it was built in northern Florida, where there aren't a lot of rocks available, geology up at the surface, rocks to spare to stack your barrel on. Luckily, this site had an old forgotten trailer where there was chunks of urbanite and old cinder blocks, and that worked great for us to set our barrel up on. So even if you don't have rocks in your spot where you want to build your oven, there are options.